So I'm losing weight. What I found is that after I saw that very alarming video of myself on your Instagram
Your
stories,
of
I
your
was like,
fucking tire.
fuck this shit. So I've already lost 4 pounds.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm working out every day, kettlebell workouts, like height workouts that I only spend like 30 minutes doing, but it gets me fucking going.
Yeah, that's good.
Caloric deficit to 1,500 calories. I didn't realize this, but I was eating like 3,500 calories on average a day.
How do you not realize how much you're eating?
I don't know, but I was literally eating that much.
Dude, you're lucky you aren't 250 pounds.
I know.
Like,
So,
legitimately, you could be so fat.
so my metabolism must still be working somewhat well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been drinking a shit ton of water, like over 80 ounces of water, intermittent fasting still,
Yeah, that's good.
taking fish oil, taking like vitamins for like iron and vitamin C, A, B shit. I tried hydroxycut extreme.
Like, why? Why'd you do that?
Let me tell you, it gave me the nastiest headache ever.
Oh,
So,
dude,
so, so
I
it's
thought that stuff is like not proven to work.
no, it does. So like they have a different like pill thing that they have for like bodybuilders and stuff. But basically it's just a thermogenic caffeinated pill for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I take thermogenics, but I take like stuff that I get off a bodybuilder. And really I only do it because it's a good appetite suppressant. I've told you about those thermogenics I take that have cayenne pepper in them. And every time they get lodged in my esophagus and they break open, I burp up and like sneeze out a bunch of pepper and it burns my face.
Yeah.
I
Like
advise against that. It sucks.
this one literally gives me hot flashes. And if I don't drink tons of water,
Oh yeah, dude. Thermogenics are no joke. If you take them in abundance, like if you take, so I think one serving of the ones that I take is 3 pills, which is like 270 milligrams of caffeine, which like isn't too terrible. Like it's enough to get you going, especially if you go on to work. But if you take any more than that, dude, your whole fucking body feels overheated. It's especially your face. I don't know if it did that to you, but like it felt like all the blood rushed to my fucking face when I take them.
it was mostly my head.
Damn, that
Yeah.
was Hydroxycut.
Yeah. And yesterday, because I took one yesterday, I got to the lounge and everybody said, "You want a beer or anything?" And I had bourbon there, but I only drank like 1 cup of bourbon. Because like my headache was just fucking, my head was pounding.
So I was thinking about this because you didn't show up to hockey. So what was the reason for that?
Oh, you don't want to know. Actually, yeah, it's a perfect place for wanting to know.
Well, you said you got sick and everybody was wondering. And what I said was, well, if there's a weight loss competition and Chris is at the lounge, he's likely drank himself to the point where he can't make it to hockey.
No, it was worse than that. I'm okay. Just want to say I'm okay.
Oh, dude, if it's something to do with another firearm at the lounge, I'm going to lose my shit.
No, so I was there Monday for the weigh-ins of this weight loss challenge. No one shows up for it. And I'm like, fuck these guys. But Gonzo and Brian made hamburgers. And so I had 2 plain hamburgers, nothing on them, no buns, no nothing on it, just getting some meat in my gut.
Okay.
And trying to keep it down for like the weigh-ins and just, stay on a healthier diet. Anyways, so I'm sitting there waiting and I'm like, it's getting closer to like 1 or 2 at this point. And Omar comes in and I'm hanging out with him talking. I was like, look at these fucking pieces of shit. All of them not even here for the weigh-ins. I'm sitting here. And he's like, well, how long are you going to be here today? I was like, well, I got hockey today, so I'm going to be leaving probably like 4:30. And he goes, okay. He's like, well, do you want any of this brownie? I was like, sure. He's like, well, but you got to know it's one of those brownies. I was like, oh, it's one of those. Well, I was like, then just give me just like a small amount of it. Just a small ass amount of it.
You fucking retard. I knew you weren't sick.
So I eat part of this brownie. And then Brian, the other guy there, the bigger guy, Black Brian. I don't know if you've seen him.
Black Brian?
Like,
Yeah.
so he takes a little sliver of it. He's like, you only want like a little bit of it, Omar said. And I was like, that's fine. So like I eat it, and like about an hour later, we're watching a movie, and I was on my laptop while watching a movie. I think I was writing a review or something like that. And
Yeah.
he's like, so do you feel it yet, man? I was like, no. He's like, that's weird. You had a pretty big chunk. He's like, but this shit is fucking strong, bro. He's like, it'll put you on your ass if you don't watch it. I was like, I had a little bit, but I'm not feeling anything. I'm an hour in. I should have been feeling it by now.
Yeah, if it's an edible, usually anywhere from like 40,
So
up to 45 minutes.
before we know it, he's like, well, I guess I won't finish the rest of it. And the brownie was only like, it was like that big. It was not big. And this was like a professionally done brownie.
Yeah, but how many milligrams did he say was in it?
An ungodly amount from my experience. So what happened was I felt fine. 3:30 rolls around. I got about an hour left. And he's like, hey, do you want the rest of the crumbs of the brownie? He's like, I've had way too much.
Do you want the crumbs?
There's little like crumbs in the bottom of like the little paper. And I was like, I guess. He's like, well, do you feel anything yet? I was like, no. He's like, well, just eat some of the crumbs. And he's like, because I've had too much. I'm fucking done. So I was like, okay, I'll eat the crumbs. So I'm like holding the paper. I'm eating the crumbs. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Tastes the same. Doesn't taste any stronger than the other bite I had. So then I was like, well, I guess it's time to go. And he goes, let me know how you feel later, man. Like, okay. So I leave. I get
like he knew something you didn't know was coming.
So I get in my SUV and I decide before I even like head to hockey, and this is like now at 4:30, I was like, I'm going to stop and see CAO real quick at mom's house. Since that's where I dropped him off, I'm going to go there and I'm going to
your kid.
go say hi to him and say, I love you. I'll see you later tonight.
All the while you're like losing your shit, tripping.
And every minute, every mile I covered in my
it got worse.
I felt my head just going like this, like a tingling feeling of vroom, vroom, vroom. And I was like, oh shit, here it comes. Anyways, I get to mom's house and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like my heart's like vroom, 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 vroom. And I'm like,
I can't say that I've never felt that before, but
I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm about to die. So I get up out of my car, and Cory, I can't tell you, I'm going to get up and walk just so you can get a general basis of this. Yeah. I get out of my SUV, and I'm like this, like. Did you have duck legs or cement feet? Two things happen. It literally felt like my feet were 2 feet in a dark, thick marshland, like in a swamp.
You had gravel legs.
I couldn't lift my legs. And I walk into mom's house, and the first thing she says, you look tired. I was like, I'm real tired. So I begrudgingly walk up her stairs, both flights, and I swear to you, I can't lift my foot more than a couple inches off the ground. I get into her room where Kale is laying down for a nap.
Yeah.
Or actually, he was watching videos, but kind of laying there. Well, I get in there, I lay on the bed, and I pass out for 3 hours.
Damn.
And then I woke up and ate a 17-inch pizza.
So this is when your weight loss was supposed to happen. Clearly, that day did not define your weight loss.
No, because I technically won because no one else showed up. So it was like a chance of victory. I was like, yeah. I won.
Why did they start it on Labor Day? I feel like
I don't know. But now it's delayed until next Tuesday. So I don't know.
Dude, shut up. I mean, I'd get in on that shit for sure. Not that I don't have a lot of weight to lose, but if they do it by percentage, I bet I could give people a run for the money.
That's the goal, is by percentage. But there's so many guys that are just bloated on beer, in pops. As soon as they stop drinking that for 2 weeks, they're gonna lose a shit ton.
Dude, I may actually enter on because I need to be a little bit more disciplined.
It's a $20 buy-in.
$20?
$20 buy-in.
What?
And the prize is a box of Placencia.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
that's a good deal. I'll do
I
it.
would take a box of placentas.
So I've been going fucking full bore. The problem is I'm gaining way more muscle than I'm burning right now because I've been working out every single day and sometimes twice a day now. So I'm like I think I'm building more muscle than I'm burning right now.
Yeah, if you want to, you better not do that if you're looking to, if your intention is to specifically try to lose weight in order to win the competition, you're going to do that two ways. One, you're going to do that by dehydration. How long does the competition go for?
2 weeks.
Oh, then, dude, most of it's going to be water weight because it's hard. It's difficult to lose body fat, especially if your body's not accustomed to doing it. So mostly what you're going to lose in a 2 week time period is likely going to be water weight.
Yeah, which like I said, drinking 80 plus ounces of water a day is not helping me.
No, you got to like dehydrate the fuck out of yourself. I mean, just you do what the regimented MMA fighters do when they have to make weight. It's just dehydration. And then as soon as they're done, they gulp a bunch of fucking Gatorades, eat a bunch of food, and within a day they've gained 15 pounds.
Yeah.
They should extend it. It should be more than a month, in my opinion. 2 weeks, I don't think is a long enough time to
Yeah,
really challenge your body to lose good, healthy weight.
I might put in a ballot for it. Because
I mean,
like
it would just. I mean, I'm saying it just for like safety
health
health
reasons.
reasons. Yeah, like you don't.
And I'm like pulling out all stops minus working out, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
caloric deficit, intermittent fasting, low carb diet.
right.
Uh,
That's all good stuff.
but on top of that, I'm working out like crazy, eating a lot of protein and drinking a shit ton of water.
Yeah, I mean, like the best way if you want to. Well, there's two differences. There's like losing weight, and then there's shaping your body. Losing weight, definitively, especially if you're doing it for a long term, the advantage of a caloric deficit is where you want that's what you want to be at, right? I mean, as simplistic as it gets, there's so many people who do like crazy diets, fad diets, keto, and so on and so forth, and everybody's body reacts differently. But there is something that remains true for everybody. A caloric deficit means weight loss.
Yeah.
So at its most simplistic and basic form, that's how you lose weight. And then you have the ability to lose water weight. Then you can do things like intermittent fasting where you essentially speed up the fat burning cycle in your body. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And a lot of those work in conjunction with one another. Like I intermittent fast every day. And right now I'm averaging 20 hours. I'm eating like a motherfucking asshole because I haven't gone to the gym. I've been stressed out. I've been working on this fucking house, but I don't eat until 5 o'clock every day. And then I only eat till like 8. So I have like a 3 hour window of which I'm like consuming food and I'm losing weight. Now I'm not building muscle anymore, but I'm losing weight or at least maintaining in most instances. And I'm literally eating like a fuck pig. So,
Yeah.
but so there's good ways of doing it, bad ways of doing it. I would tell you in 2 weeks, if you're looking to win a competition, you're going to get people who are doing it the bad way because that's really going to be the only way to win.
Most of them already
In
said
terms
they're
of significant
literally
difference.
they're not drinking beers and alcohols really, and
That's like number one for sure.
they're going to be eating a lot of fruits, and that's about it.
Right. A lot of fruits.
But I will
I mean,
say this: what threw me off though, and it doesn't help that I weighed myself last night at the lounge when I had a shit ton of water on my system. Um, but I weighed myself, and it said I weighed, what was it? Almost 190, and I'm like, that's not right.
that can't be right.
And I was like, that's not right at all.
No way you're that big.
No. So, and I've always hovered around 180, like 178 to 180, and I know I've lost 4 pounds. So I was like, there's no way I'm 190. I was like, how much water
Well,
could I have possibly put on?
well, then you have like scale calibration, and you have the floor of which the scale sets on, which can change. So really what you want to look at is like, no matter what you do, you want to weigh yourself on the same scale in the same environment every single time you weigh yourself. Because if you weigh on your scale at home and then you go and weigh on a scale at the lounge, you're going to get two different results, even if nothing has changed in your body.
Yeah, I know.
It's just the reality of it.
Yeah. So
Um,
all in all, I feel great.
Good.
I want to thank you for posting that hideous fucking video of me. It like set me into high gear for.
You looked like a curious dad in that video. Like you had a crack in your windshield. You're just like,
Pretty much. But I look so much better already, man. Like I look so much better already.
Yeah, you're losing that. It's like, you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those stomach and rib safety protectors that NFL quarterbacks wear.
I always think it's like what the little babies wear in the pool, like as floaters, like stay above the water.
Just like you have a compact life vest underneath your shirt. That's okay. That's okay. It'll go bye-bye. It doesn't take a lot of work. It just takes consistency. Like those kinds of changes aren't that difficult. I don't know why people make it out to be a big deal. It's actually a really subtle change that you have to make. The problem is a lot of people, and this is why I don't like the whole 2-week dynamic, is that you have to go from one extreme to the other to get results in that time period. If you're to do it over 2 months, people could change things. Like you could literally change the way your body reacts and absorbs nutrients and reacts to food over 2 months. You can't in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is like a fucking crash diet. It's like do everything that you can, dehydrate your fucking body, don't eat anything, take laxatives, but there's no long-term gain in doing that.
I think there's more value. I think there's more value in the competition to like measure against people's throughput, right? Because doing something for a week is much different than doing something for a month or two.
Yeah, I would look at it and say, hey, how about we do this for a year and see who has the results at the end of the year? Oh, like you want to talk about lifestyle change? That's
boxes of Placencias to the win.
Yeah, 1 box a month.
1 box a month. Actually, that'd be cool. Every month we see who's won that month, and they get a box.
I'm just saying for health reasons, that's a smarter way to do it because you're not causing people to do anything extreme. 2 weeks, you have to do extreme things to your body.
Yeah, and
it's just not healthy. It really is not healthy at all.
Yeah,
that dehydration factor is terrible.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to because I'm still packing in like carbs because I need it for the energy for the workouts and just general life. Like I can't not have carbs.
Dude, I cut out carbs. This is crazy. So I did about 2 years ago, I started doing keto and I was like real particular. I mean, I was doing 25 grams or less of carbs a day. And I felt like absolute fucking garbage. And then people say, hey, it takes your body a little bit of time to react. I gave that shit like 4 months and I felt so goddamn terrible every single time. Like every day I woke up and I was exhausted and I'd have a headache. My body just does not do well with no carbs. Like I have to have them. Otherwise I feel like complete fucking garbage. And I just kept telling myself, give it more time, give it more time, give it more time. Nothing. The reaction was god awful. It was so bad. Now, the difference between good carbs and bad carbs, obviously, or high sugars or so on. Like, I keep those things low, but
like 0 sugars I'm eating right now, like 0.
Yeah, that's smart. Sugars will fuck your ass. I'm glad this turned into a health podcast. Yeah, that looks good. I was wondering what you were drinking. From the video, it looks like you're either drinking motor oil or wine. So I was hoping it was wine.
Yeah, it's
drinking Long Branch.
It's very dark Sauvignon because all my bourbon's at the lounge and whiskey.
That looks good. I put a little cart in this room. So this is my new office, obviously, which is like seconding as my podcast room until I can finish the basement. But as you can see, I put up the only picture that matters. Tony Soprano in the background, always watching over me. Yeah, dude, this week has been fucking wild. Also, I saw a turkey vulture today in my backyard. So I thought it was a turkey, and I didn't know it was a vulture until I looked it up. So Quincy and I went out in the back, and obviously, like, I have my fenced-in area, and then I have the back area. Then I have, like, the rest of my property. And I was up against the fence, and I see this giant fucking bird just strolling across, just like, burr, 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 burr. And I was like, holy fuck, that's a big bird. I was like, look at that turkey, because it had a red face, and it had the little, like, thing under here. I was like, holy shit.
It's called a nutsack.
It's literally, it looked like an old man's ball sack because it was all red and you know what I mean? It just was real droopy. Yeah. It looked like it just been through war. Yeah. Anyway, so It's strolling across because it wants to get to the water because I have those little the little retention creek back there.
Yeah.
And it's strolling. I was like, God damn, look at that turkey. And Quincy's like barking at it. And at that same time, Lauren's calling me from inside trying to tell me something. I was like, hey, get out here right now. You got to see this fucking turkey in our backyard. I was like, the whole time I'm thinking, I just want to go get my fucking 223 rifle and just fucking boom, there's Thanksgiving right there. Like in 2 seconds, we'll have Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
But she comes out back and she looks at it and goes, God damn, that's a big bird. Next thing I know, it fucking takes flight.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. Dude, this wingspan on this bird was at least 7 feet long. It was the biggest bird, and there's so many of them flying around. So I was like, well, turkeys don't fly, so what the fuck is this thing? And I was like, it was probably a vulture because I kept seeing them circling. Like as soon as he took off, like 2 or 3 more just started circling around. I was like, well, that's a vulture. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, there's such thing called a turkey vulture. Now, here's the crazy thing about turkey vultures, especially because I have a 9-pound pug. Lauren's like, well, you have to be out with Quincy all the time now because we cannot have him getting scooped up by a giant bird. I was like, vultures just eat dead shit. I was like, they don't eat live shit. Yeah, I was wrong. They definitely eat live shit. They're known to eat goats, lambs, small dogs, small birds. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I'm going to watch my goddamn dog every time he goes to take a piss or shit because these vultures are everywhere. It flew on our neighbor's roof and was just staring at me. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
They're fucking everywhere in Kentucky. Every time I drive down there, there's a fucking group of them. Every time. Some dead animal, poor unfortunate animal.
Oh, yeah.
Raccoon, possum, groundhog, whatever the case may be. They're always there in the middle of the street. And I have to honk at them.
My thought process was just, like they used to do in the old days, is just make a sacrifice to it. You know what I mean? Like I'll just get a couple dead rodents. Yeah, a peace offering, and just throw them back and be like, don't touch my fucking dog. You can have these dead rats. Like those are yours. Dude, these birds are like the biggest birds I've ever seen. Like puts an eagle to shame. That's how big their wingspan was. I was like, that's a fucking pterodactyl. That's not even a bird. It was insane.
That's like a 747 bird.
Oh, dude, for sure. It's a Boeing. There's no doubt. Oh, I got to tell you this fucking weird story. Like the day after we fucking move in, actually, this may have been Monday. We get a knock on the door and some fucking weird dude. And I didn't hear him because I was like unpacking stuff. But Lauren answered the door and this guy was just like, yeah, is Tony here? And Lauren's like, there's no Tony that lives here. Like, we just moved into this house. And she's like, I don't even think the previous people there was a Tony here. He goes, I'm looking for a Tony. And she goes, again, I could hear her in the kitchen. She's like, there's no Tony that lives here. And he's like, and here's the thing. He didn't just come knocking on our door. He was walking through our front yard. He was like looking through windows, like walking in our front yard aimlessly, just like walking back.
Tony, I know you're in there, Tony.
You're in there, Tony. Tony, you owe me money. And it was so confusing. So like she opened the door as he was like getting ready to walk around our bushes. And that's when like she confronted him. And then he was like, I'm looking for Tony, blah, blah, blah. You're like, there's no Tony. Like you're at the wrong house if there's no Tony that lives here. So next thing, he starts walking through our yard again towards the side and then walks around the corner to our backyard where our gate's at. So then I walk around the house to the back and I can see him in my window, literally with his arms on my gate like this, looking in the backyard. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I walk out there and I was like, hey, what the fuck can I help you with right now? And he's like, I'm looking for Tony. I was like, no, I know that. My wife already told me there's no Tony that lives here. Why are you at my back gate? He's like, well, I'm looking for Tony, and Tony had a pool built, and I was just looking around the corner here because I think he's like, I thought maybe I saw a pool in the corner of my eye, like right on the other side of your house. And I was like, there's no pool back here. There's no Tony. I was like, are we going to have a fucking problem? And he's like, no problem here. No problem here. And he walks away so slow. He has this horrific limp. Like he's an older guy, horrible limp. Like it took him fucking 30 minutes to walk like 30 feet out of my front yard. And I looked at Lauren. I was like, day 2, and I'm going to have to beat this old man's ass. She was like, well, he probably has dementia. And I tell Dad the story. And of course, Dad goes, well, son, you know what the problem was, right? And I was like, no, what? And he's like, he's on those fucking drugs. He's on that goddamn cocaine. I was like, no, he wasn't on cocaine because he was not hyped up at all. He was literally so slow at everything.
It's like a fucking like, hey, is Mark live here?
Dude, it was so fucking strange. That's what he looked like. But he had this.
He said he had a trampoline back here. We didn't play together, but
he had a horrific fucking limp too. It took him so long to get out of our yard.
like,
And then
well, I guess
crazy. Dude, the crazy thing is he just kept standing in our yard. And I told Lauren, I was like, if he doesn't get out of our yard in 2 minutes, I'm beating the brakes off this old guy. And it took him forever to get out of our yard. And then he started looking at our neighbor's yard. And then he just continued down the street aimlessly. Like it was like he had dementia. Like he just didn't know where the fuck he was at. But then the other part of me is thinking like, well, there's been a for sale sign in this house for a long time. It's been empty. We just moved in. Like, who knows if there's just people walking around scoping fucking property. And the ironic thing is I just put both of my security cameras up too. Like I had just put the one above the garage up like 20 minutes before he showed up. So I've got footage of this guy walking aimlessly through the fucking yard.
He was ocean wanting it. Because he doesn't have 10 other people. You know, it's not Ocean's 11. He's Ocean.
No, Ocean's 11. I just think he really wanted to use someone's pool. It was a hot day. And he's just like, listen.
What if he was literally already in his swim trunks?
It'd be hilarious.
With a fucking like pool
with
noodle.
a towel. Is Tony here? Dude, not only is there no Tony, there's no pool. Like, what are you going to dive in? There's nothing here.
It's like, oh, I see the pull out back, but he goes in the very back into like a puddle and just like fucking dives into it. I would totally call the cops at that point. It's like, this guy's fucking loony, man.
I see him just waiting on a like a raft in the retention creek in the back, just splashing. Dude, it was fucking weird as shit. I was like, God damn, I hope this is not of what's to come. I'm gonna be so pissed. So pissed if I bought this dope house and I just got all these fucking retards running around.
It looks like a very solid neighborhood, but it makes you wonder, like, how far in either direction is there sketchy places?
Oh, so we've already checked it out. So here's the thing. It's just a bunch of Trump people. Dude, there's one guy that I just counted yesterday. I went to by the way, the Kroger here has a liquor store in it.
Oh,
stocked to the gills, which is
yeah, that's the one I go to every time I go to Cabins.
Yeah, so same one, right? Like that Kroger. So I went to that Kroger yesterday, and on my way there, in one guy's yard, I counted 13 Trump signs. And each neighbor on both sides and across the street, Trump signs everywhere. I was like, holy shit. I was like, what'd I get myself into? Now it's weird because we are like on the edge of Monroe, but we are in Liberty Township. Like we're only a mile or like half a mile into Liberty Township, but it's not bad, dude. Like right down the street. So there's like older houses that are kind of around me, but if you go down just a little bit on the left, dude, there are like these baller ass fucking homes. I'm talking like multi-million-dollar homes that are on like a couple acres each. I'm like, fucking A. Like I aspire to be in those houses. I'm in arguably the poorest house in our neighborhood. I'm like the least rich house of all the houses that are in the neighborhood, which is totally fine because I love it. But I have more land than everybody else, so they can.
That's going to increase your property value anyway. They're going to keep you up.
Yeah, dude, I mowed my yard for the first time yesterday. Damn, it takes a while, even on a riding lawnmower. I was like, holy shit, I forgot how long it takes. Do what?
Hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, close to. Yeah, about an hour and a half. Very close to that, actually. Mm-hmm. And my new riding lawnmower, dude, it's so weird making purchases like that because I'm like, oh, I'm like a fucking dad now. I got my fucking riding lawnmower because I like my push mower. I like the exercise of it, but I can't push mow over an acre of land. Like I will die. There's no way.
All weekend.
oh my God, it would take me so long. And this thing, dude, is like, I put a beer inside of a koozie and I put it in my little cup holder and I just sat there and drank while I was mowing grass. It was fantastic. I felt like I was cheating, which was weird. I felt like I was like, I'm cheating at this mowing game right now, which felt odd to me. I felt like I needed to be doing more labor, but God damn, they're nice. So nice to have. How convenient. Whoever made the fucking garden tractor.
Can't you buy those like extended blades too, where you can make them even wider and you can cover even more ground?
I think you can. Mine is a 46, so it's pretty wide. It's not super wide. Like 54 is like I think the widest you can get in a garden tractor. I didn't want a 54 because the wider it is, the harder it is to turn. I mean, the turn radius starts collapsing. So I didn't want something too big because I needed to get snug up against the fence, mostly because my walking lawnmower is not here. It's still at the old house because I'm going to have to mow the grass like 1 or 2 more times before we sell or before we actually get out of it. So I just left it over there. So I had to get something I could do like tight turns in and like navigate a little bit because that back where that retention creek goes through, dude, it drops like 2 feet. So like I got to be like tight on the edge of that. I can't have like big ass tires and roll into that shit. So
That's true.
which I actually did yesterday. I had to push it out of that goddamn fucking little creek, which was stupid. But yeah, it's been cool, man. Like we have most everything like set up that we own currently. We have nothing in the living room because we don't have fucking furniture, but like I've got TVs like mounted, like our old living room. We have that loft area up here. We just basically made that our old living room. It looks identical.
Oh, okay.
And I just mounted a TV on the wall and it looks great, but there's still a lot of shit to do and I'm beyond exhausted. So, but that's what you get, right? That's what you get when you move.
What do you get when you fall in love?
I felt like I had way more stuff to talk about because we'd missed a week and there's so fucking much going on in the world right now. It's obnoxious. Like so much. Think about all the there's fires rip roaring through the West Coast. And it all started because some fucking cunt decided to do one of those gender reveals and she burnt down like 7,000 fucking acres just for a gender reveal. It's funny too, because I had that conversation with Lauren because she's like real into that stupid shit. And I was like, I think gender reveals are so dumb. I was like, who gives I don't give a fuck if anybody knows the gender of my fucking kid. Because if it's me, I don't give a fuck what the gender of your kid is. I don't give a fuck if you're having a boy or a girl. Listen, come at me if you have a hermaphrodite. Then I'm interested. If it has a dick and a vagina, I'm totally interested and I want to know everything about it.
That's why
you just all boy, all girl. I don't care.
That's why you just need to have a party for your babies that is more actually is like whether the baby is normal or not. Like have a party about that and do a normal reveal at a party. Now the problem is with that one, while it's great in theory, if the adverse happens.
Right. What happens if your kid's got the downs or whatever?
Right.
Then what do you do?
Then everybody's like, oh
yeah.
My God.
What if you had a party for that? Imagine how cruel that would be.
That would be pretty wild.
Yeah, people are fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the world's fucking burning. Joe Biden's still a fucking douchebag. Donald Trump's still a douchebag. We've got literally 2 months away from what is probably going to be the most important election in our history, in our lifetime, for sure. And either way, it's a terrible outcome. Really, if you think about it, one's probably less worse than the other, but holy shit, they're both going to be atrocious. Like, what the fuck is going on in this world right now?
Yeah. It kind of sucks. Like, it makes me want to move to Vancouver.
That's, how you remember the first time Trump got elected, or like all those celebrities that come to move to Canada. And of course, people are like, "Oh, did you actually move to Canada?" It's like here's chance number 2, because I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right now, as this is being recorded. The reality of another Trump win is becoming more apparent every day. Biden was winning in the polls, but here's the problem. Biden doesn't know how to not step on his own dick. So every time he talks, Donald Trump is so good, mastermind of beating other people down. Literally did that the whole first election. He crippled people just by insulting them.
Yeah.
That doesn't work with Biden because you can't insult a guy who's not coherent at all times. But Biden is so terrible at representing himself that it's like, if you're Donald Trump, you don't even have to say anything. You just let this guy talk. Like,
It's
don't
like
tweet out.
if
Don't say a word.
you're Biden and you're talking some shit and I'm Trump, I'm just like,
That's it. That's all you have to do. Guy's fucking crazy. What do you want me to say? Like, you don't have to tweet shit. You don't have to put out any ads. You just let Biden keep talking, keep doing his radio shows, keep doing his interviews where he contradicts himself all the time. You do that, you're going to win the election. Like, the polls have closed so much. Like, Biden was early on, like in July, was ahead by a long shot. And the polls keep fucking collapsing. Like, it's to the point where it's like neck and neck, which is pretty indicative of what happened in the last election against Hillary Clinton. They just continued to close over time. And it's like, it's not that Trump is good. It's the Democrats just don't know how to get out of their own way. And now you have Biden, who literally is a functional fucking retard. Like, you're killing yourself, dude. Like, you aren't coherent enough to even do an interview. So what makes you think you're coherent enough to run a country? Dude, the whole thing is wild to me. It's fucking wild. Ugh, it's like politics are driving me nuts. I actually literally stopped getting on Facebook. I posted a picture of Caden like yesterday on Facebook. It's like the only time I've been on Facebook in like weeks because it's so atrocious.
if you're black and you don't vote for me, then there ain't no Chinese. Like,
that'll be his next thing.
and I'm like, did you even hear what you just said, Biden? He's like, I didn't say that. That wasn't me.
I like when his son kept saying, like, or he kept defending his son and saying that he didn't do business. He didn't have dealings with China. And then they just reverted back to like 2 years previous, not 20 years, like 2 years previous to that. And he goes, I'm so proud of my son opening up and doing business with the Chinese. It's like, dude, that wasn't even that long ago. Like, even if you forgot about it, that was 2 years ago. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, the blatant lies. That's the problem. It's like, why not just own up to it? Just be like, you know what? Yeah, he does. And we're, in our nation right now, there's certain things that need to be reevaluated in terms of trade. Like, I was proud of my son because of what he's done in business, but maybe there's a better way of doing stuff. Like, nobody ever wants to admit anything and they just want to double down. It's just like the whole attitude is double down and who gives a fuck? Even if I get called on it, who gives a shit? It's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, people see right through that garbage.
I know.
It's wild. All right, let's get off that fucking political topic. We have a review today.
We sure do.
What's significant about this review?
It's significant because it's the month of October, and what a perfect time to smoke a cigar for this holiday season. We are smoking
100%.
the CAO Bones.
Oh, God. Why are we smoking a CAO? What the fuck are we doing to ourselves? Why would we even go down this path, this endeavor?
I don't know.
Why smoke a CAO at all? Doesn't really make sense, really, if you think about it.
No. And, the thing is like the backstory is like the coolest part about it, in my opinion. Like, did you hear like what Rick Rodriguez said about the blend?
I didn't. I would love to know, though. I am ultra curious.
Yeah, so like it is all about the holiday season. We're getting close to Halloween again, people. We've just hit the month of October. If you say it's September, you're an asshole. But we're getting so close to Halloween. And, what a better time than to like get that spookiness, So CAO, Rick Rodriguez, comes out with the Bones. What it represents is a childhood memory of his, of reading one of his Halloween scary short stories that he read when he was little. That sent him like that bone-chilling, tingly feeling up his spine when he was little. And he's like, it's a perfect time to reintroduce one of my childhood memories that scared the shit out of me. And he referenced a really spooky ghost story about bones. I figured I'd read it for you. Okay, it's called.
Ready.
It's called.
Boner jams.
Just lightly. It's called The Skeleton in the Closet.
Ooh, spooky.
A very large old building was being torn down to make room for a new skyscraper. Due to its proximity to other buildings, it could not be imploded and had to be dismantled floor by floor. While working on the 49th floor, 2 construction workers found a human skeleton in a small closet behind the elevator shaft. Oh. They decided that they should call the police. When the police arrived, the workers led them to the closet and showed them the skeleton. It was fully clothed, covered in cobwebs and dust, and sitting in a crouched position. They all found the sight of this skeleton disturbing and wondered who it could have been and how they would have wound up in this closet. The police forensics teams removed the body, and demolition of the building was put on hold until the police figured out the identity of this corpse. 2 days went by, and the construction workers were becoming impatient. They couldn't stand it anymore. They had to know who they had found. They called the police and said, "Hey, we're like the 2 guys who found the skeleton in the closet, and we want to know who it was." The policeman said, "It's somebody kind of important." And they said, "Well, who was it?" they asked. And the policeman replied, "The 1956 National Hide and Seek champion." The end.
That was great.
So Rick was inspired by that short story when he was a little boy.
I honestly thought it had to do something with like some bukkake experience in Bangkok. And just like appropriately named Bones.
Yeah.
But I almost like that story better.
Yeah.
So this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the release, CAO. It's their newest release, Bones, and it was Ricky Rodriguez who I think kind of spearheaded the effort.
Yeah.
But doesn't the fucking humidor or the box that comes in come with dice?
Dice. Yeah.
Am I fucking crazy? Are we rolling like D20s for some reason? Like, is it just like regular dice, like fucking hood rat on the side of like an alley rolling dice? Like what's
yeah, so
I guess I don't know the purpose.
So I think Cigar Aficionado got it wrong because as quoted in their publication, Rodriguez said, "Bones is about kicking back with your friends with a cold beer in your hand."
Right. I think I read that.
Smoking, grilling, talking a little trash, and having the time of your life. But see, I feel like that was taken out of context because what I really think Cigar Aficionado missed on this is the fact that this having fun really boiled down to this guy that played hide and seek in this old building and never came out of the closet because he was that dedicated to winning the fucking game.
Right.
You know, so I feel like some context may have been skewed. Maybe it's like a language transition issue with that they had. But yeah, I think Cigar Aficionado got it wrong.
I think they did too. I think your story is much better. So the reason, I mean, really the big reason that we're smoking this cigar is an effort to continue what we had set out to do, which we've kind of explained on the podcast in the recent weeks, is that we're really challenging ourselves to smoke as many new cigars that hit the market as possible. CAO Bones came out not that long ago. They just hit the shelves, about a month ago? Maybe a month and a half. They have not been out long. So an effort to kind of keep pace with the stuff that's releasing on the market, we thought, hey, let's smoke the CAO Bones and see what this thing's all about. Now, we don't traditionally, and I think it's important just to mention this, we don't smoke CAOs on the regular. I used to smoke CAOs all the time. That was what I smoked most often, I would say. How long have I been smoking? It's been a while. It's been a long while,
At
probably
least
12,
10
13
years.
years.
Yeah.
I was smoked CAOs. I don't want to say exclusively, but a lot just in that early time period, probably in the first 2 years of me smoking. That was my preference, my go-to. So it's weird kind of getting back to it. It's not that I don't smoke CAOs somewhat regularly. I like to try the new stuff that they come out with, but not on an interval like I do most things. So this is, I would say, a rare treat just because I haven't had one in a pretty significant chunk of time. So before we get into it, Chris, how do we break these down?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Cory. Each cigar review is broken down into 3 main categories: construction, burn, and flavor. To throw in a little extra kicker, we see if the cigar is worth the price for a possible bonus or deduction. We're not telling you what that is. And then finally, we average out our individual reviews, giving you guys our final recommendation. This is different. I know we've been on a break. Sometimes we need a refresher. We don't do point values anymore. This isn't school. This isn't high school. We're not grading you A through F, you know? This is about, do we find it to be a reputable product, and do we recommend it to you or not? Simply put.
It's that easy.
That easy.
Now, here's what I think is interesting about this cigar. It's Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. This is why that's strange. Connecticut broadleaf right now in the marketplace is hard to come by. Some things are not being produced at the same intervals they were being produced before, and other things that are being produced with Connecticut broadleaf are going up in price. CAO somehow managed to make a new cigar, a new blend, utilizing the Connecticut broadleaf for the wrapper type. That shows you how much pull an organization like CAO has, or at least how long they've been sitting on that tobacco for utilization. In addition to that, this is kind of rare. The binder is a Connecticut shade binder.
Right.
I thought was really weird. And in addition to that, you have a very complex lineup of fillers. Nicaraguan, 2 different types of Honduran, and Dominican fillers make up this cigar. So right out of the gates, I'm going, this is a Frankenstein fucking cigar.
Sure.
There's a lot going on here. Now, the telltale is, and we said this before, sometimes less is more. So I'm wondering in this cigar, is more going to be more? What's it going to be like with all those different varietals of tobacco being used? We smoked this in the Toro 6x54. It comes in at actually a very competitive $8 roughly price point for the Toro.
But to your point, Cory, about the Connecticut broadleaf, I think it's the latter. I think they held on to it. I think they shoved it in the closet just like this guy did, this 1956 national hide and seek champion. Right. I think they just stayed in the closet and didn't ever come out until someone found it. It's my guess. They probably sat on it.
It's reasonable to think that.
Like, imagine like following the trend, right? Like, yeah, Connecticut broadleaf is great, but every fucking brand's doing Connecticut broadleaf.
Or trying, at least, yeah.
Yeah. Do I want to release a cigar with Connecticut broadleaf too, just to follow the trend? Or do I want to hold on to it when it no longer comes in supply, almost like waiting for it to die off before they like reintroduce it as like, yeah, we still got it. Here's this new cigar that has Connecticut broadleaf that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, which is kind of strange because it's not like this was like there's no part of the marketing effort, I think, or I believe with CAO that was like, hey, we got this new Connecticut broadleaf cigar out. It was like, no, we have this new cigar out called Bones, and it comes with dice.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't care about your dice. I care about your cigars. I don't know. I think they could have probably played into that a little bit harder, but it is what it is at this point. Chris,
we're rolling the dice on whether or not the cigar is going to be good or not.
Oh, we're rolling those dice hard.
Right?
Real hard.
That's not me. That's me tossing dice. That's not me jacking off. That's just me tossing dice.
What did you think about the construction of the cigar?
I'll tell you what, it's that toothy, fucking grainy, sandpapery, Connecticut thick-ass broadleaf that we all love. Super dark, dark as night, perfect for the Halloween occasion. And like it was a really honestly an immaculate construction. The cap structure was good, real dark. But I will give them credit. It's a 54 ring gauge, right? It's kind
It's
of
a dog.
a fatty. It's kind of a fatty. Did I expect it when I picked it up to be really overly packed? Sure did. It's a big ass ring gauge. I always imagine all big ass ring gauges are big because they want to fit as much shit into them as possible, right?
Sure.
This one actually had a little bit of give. As big as the girl was, she was squishy. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want too firm of a big woman. You want that like squishy, like, you know, you want that little jiggle, like, you know, like.
Is there such thing as a big firm woman? I guess that exists, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's kind of like those fat guys with the beer guts where it's like, yeah, their stomach is distended, but it's so tight.
Because
Like it looks like it's going to burst.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. I think you could get that in a woman too.
But the construction wasn't like that. It had a little bit of give here and there. And I thought it was a beautiful construction. The label, marketing gimmick, you know, you can tell. But
Really? You don't say. On a CAO? I would have never guessed.
yeah. But other than that, like the cigar itself, when you take the band away, it's a fucking pretty ass cigar. But it's way bigger than what I would ever really typically smoke.
Yeah, it's same. Not that I was like displeased at the size of the Vitola and smoking what we smoked. Yes, dude, it's weird. Sometimes I've been flirting with the idea of just like, and it's mostly because of this. Sorry, quick tangent. I don't have as much time to smoke anymore as I did. Like, especially right now in the immediate. I will. Things will slow down in my life a little bit to where it's like I can get back to smoking 3 cigars a day. So the idea that's like I'm smoking maybe one a day, maybe one every other day. When I'm smoking, I want to get as much out of it as possible. So I'm going into my fucking Tupperware. I'm going to my humidor and I'm finding anything that's 6.5 inches long. And that's in that 50 to 54 ring gauge. Like that's what or even up to 56, because I'm just trying to get some longevity out of it. So this one was appropriate for me in smoking because I really wanted to sit down and enjoy the cigar. I actually smoked it early this morning because it was so fucking nice out. It was, dude, I was chilly on my patio. I was like, damn, there's a nice breeze going through. So I put my jacket on and I just sat and I just fucking did the thing. I will say this. Cap structure for me looked like it was like a kindergarten art project. It was fucking wonky as shit. I actually took a picture of it because it looked like it was melting. Like
Really?
the cap, the one side of the cap just looked like it melted on the side of the cigar, which was really fucking strange. So I didn't even know where to cut it. What I ended up doing was I did. So I turned the cigar on its side, and that's exactly what I did. I clipped it like this. I clipped it at an angle because I was like, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just flick the cap off and do the whole fucking thumb thing. And I was like, nah, I'll probably fuck that up. So I just cut it literally at an angle. But I took a picture of the cap structure because it looks so fucking wonky. Aside from that, I agree with you in terms of the Connecticut broadleaf and having that toothiness, the grittiness. It's weird because I actually spackled part of my wall, and I was like, I could definitely use this cigar just to like
sand off the mud. Like
I know it would fucking work. So it did have that Connecticut broadleaf toothiness, which I really, really like. It was kind of bumpy. It was pretty rigid. So it's not really symmetrical, not really cylindrical. It just was, but it was like, it was kind of primitive, which I liked. It was a good looking cigar, and it kind of had that old school, you know what it reminded me of, weirdly enough? And it's like, I wish this cigar was almost unbanded. I appreciate the Anaconda line and I appreciate the Amazon Basin stuff because it does have that primitive look. It reminded me of that. It's just like a real old school, like early on, doesn't need to be crafted to perfection. It's supposed to look artisan in nature, but really old school at the same time. This kind of reminded me of that. By the way, the band on this fucking cigar is fucking atrocious. I don't know who your graphic design department is, and I don't know who gave approval for it. Worst fucking band ever. Just don't do the band and don't do the dice. That's all I'm saying.
They missed an opportunity because with it being called Bones, there's a bigger Vitola, people. This is a big fat 7
could have looked like a bone.
54, but there is one that's like 9 inches long almost. And I swear to you, they should have called it the femur. Like something like
that would have been great. See, I would have appreciated that kind of marketing out of CAO than the other gimmicky bullshit they usually do. And I did say this. Ironically, the cigar looks like an old buried bone. So I wrote that in my notes. But honestly, I didn't really mind it. It was like the construction wasn't bad other than the cap structure. It's like I kind of dug it a little bit. I like that primitive look.
Yeah.
What did you think about the burn?
The burn threw me for a curveball. Again, thinking that I was dealing with a heavily dense cigar, which in places might have been a little bit, but mostly squishy, right? I had a pudgy soft woman that I could turn into a pillow for bedtime, right? But it was so airy on my draw, like super airy. You know the airiness that we get when we hit like a good box press, you know? Where
Yeah.
it's like you could feel the cold air still even coming through it, even when it's lit. It doesn't burn harsh. It like a lot of air comes through. It was like that. And I'm like, holy shit. Which was very surprising. It burnt very evenly. I think you can attribute that to the Connecticut broadleaf. I mean, can we be real? It's a big, thick ass, oily wrapper.
Right.
Typically burns really evenly. Like I've never really ever had an issue with
It's hard to get a Connecticut broadleaf to burn wonky.
Yeah.
Man.
It took about 2 to 3 puffs to get good smoke production out of it, which is not uncommon, especially on a bigger vitola. Again, expecting to be tighter. You know that feeling when you get like a big ass like honker and you're like,
right.
And like you have to like hit it like 10 times before you'll get anything in your mouth, you know?
Right. Yeah. I know the feeling. Familiar.
I didn't get that. Like it was pretty effortless for as big as it looks and feels.
Wait, are we still talking about smoking the bones, or are we talking about smoking bones?
The latter. But all in all, I thought the burn was really or really good. I didn't have any corrections to worry about. Didn't have any relights. This was kind of one of those smokes where I could just kind of like set it down and just sit for a few minutes and pick it back up and it would still be lit. I thought the burn was pretty dang great.
I thought the burn was pretty damn good. I expected, given the vitola, that it was going to be worse than what it was. I will say this, the fucking draw was near perfection and the smoke production equally matched. Like I could not have been more pleased with those two aspects of the burn. The only issue that I had was one outage in the final third, which, surprise, surprise, could you not anticipate it with a 6x54? It's bound to happen. I wasn't pissed. I wasn't like super challenging at all. It was a quick relight. And honestly, after the quick relight, maybe a precursor to the flavor aspect of what we do, but it didn't really tarnish the flavors at all. So it was kind of a moot thing. But from a smoke production perspective and a draw, that easy fucking draw throughout the entire cigar, it makes, especially in the morning when I'm just starting to wake up, my eyes are still a little groggy, still a little like this, just got my cup of coffee. I don't want to try too hard with anything. It was like, fuck, man. This is easy as shit. Easy peasy.
It was
Smoke this bad boy. It was, I didn't have to challenge myself with smoking the cigar. I could just smoke it, put it down, pick it up, smoke it, put it down, pick it up, smoke it. So on, rinse and repeat. And I thought that aspect of it was really awesome. I would argue that the burn, the experience of that was probably the best thing about the cigar. Again, precursor to what we were going to discuss, which is arguably the most important piece of how we break these cigars down, which is the flavor. Chris, this bad boy is packed full of all kinds of freaking crazy goodness, or maybe not goodness. Is it overly complex? Is it not enough good balance? What did you think about the cigar overall?
Like a multicellular organism, Cory, like a complex organism, right? We're very complex, right? We're complex in nature. But if you were to kill me and eat me, I'd probably be delicious. A little bit of fat content. It's going to really add to the flavor of the meat.
Dude, like, human meat has got to be amazing.
It's like you taste like pork. You're delicious, right?
Right. Do you think at all that if you ate human meat, like different parts of the body would taste like different animals? Like, hey, eat my tricep, it tastes like chicken. Or like, hey, eat my thigh, it tastes like pork. Or hey, eat my fucking neck, it tastes like beef.
I know if you were to eat my dick, you'd be like an elephant. Tough and big. Can't fit it in your mouth. So, yeah. So anyway, your question was, what about the flavor? So what was interesting about this cigar is that there was no spice up front. Like there was zero. I can't look at you.
Oh my God, I'm fucking crying.
I can't look at you. This cigar had zero spice up front. Fucking zero.
Oh shit.
Like with that super airy draw that I got, this cool draw that I got with it, all I got on my initial hits was like woodiness, bitter, and almost no spice. I was like, where is this medium to full-bodied smoke you were talking about? Because my initial hit was like, this is super cool and creamy, and I rarely get this. Maybe sometimes with a Nicaraguan Puro occasionally, but never do I get this type of creaminess and smoothness on the beginning of a harshly lit ended foot of a cigar.
Right.
Like never. So I thought that was pretty peculiar, and actually was setting me up for the expectation that this was going to take me on a wild roller coaster ride of flavor. I'm like, wow, that's an interesting start. Can't wait to see where it goes from there, right? It was kind of like that for the first bit. Creaminess kind of came and went depending on how hard I hit it. But one thing that always seemed to happen with it, and it really showed in the middle portion of the cigar, like 25 to like 75% of the cigar, I really struggled to derive any significant flavors out of it outside of bitterness. And I couldn't, I was struggling to find flavor in it. It was just bitter. And I'm like, what is happening? And like, if I hit it really hard, sometimes I might get a little spice, sometimes that little tingliness in your throat, just a little bit. But the bitterness for the majority of the cigar, I'm like, oh man, not really feeling this.
Yeah.
And then I get to the last quarter of it, and some of that creaminess and smoothness still somehow came back to the end of the fucking cigar at the cap. And I'm like, well, that last little bit kind of redeemed itself a little bit. But all in all, the flavors felt very one-dimensional, except for very small portions of it at the beginning and the end. Felt super one-dimensional. And what's crazy about that is that there's so much shit in this thing.
Yeah. 2 different types of Honduran varietals, Dominican, just in the fillers, Nicaraguan in the fillers, and then you've got Connecticut shade in the binder and Connecticut broadleaf and in the wrapper. Dude, this thing is literally Frankenstein's monster. It's crazy. It's made up of every fucking component. And that's kind of one of the realities around, I think if you add such complexity to a blend in terms of those varietals, you have to be really careful about what you're trying to extract from a flavor experience. Because again, a lot would argue less is more. I think if you're Aganorsa, you would probably argue less is more, even though you have different types of Nicaraguan tobacco grown at different regions. You kind of know the formula of which works. And this is just all over the place. I do agree with you. So I got a little bit more element of spice up front, but that tangy bitterness is definitely there. Literally, I remarked on the whole entire cigar and the smoking experience that never leaves. That is a main flavor component that is long lasting through the cigar. And actually, I wrote in my notes, I said, it's like someone tossing a few piggies in the piggy bank, and the piggy bank is my mouth. Like it's just that copper. It has that mineral type flavor to it that just kind of hits right here on your jawline. And that is literally from inception to finish line. You always have an element of that. I also thought that the cigar was pretty one-dimensional. Put that in my notes as well. What I think that I had is probably a subtle difference from you is that there are intervals of the cigar where something else is introduced. I have never, ever once, I don't think ever, in any note that I have written, any discussion I've had in terms of review, where I said something tasted like cocoa. But this fucking cigar, I swear to God, someone took like cocoa pebbles and mashed them in my fucking jawline. There was like
that bitter sweetness.
Yeah. And I literally said roasted because that's what it was. It was like, I don't mean cocoa in terms of like I'm eating a chocolate bar. I mean like cocoa powder, that bitterness, that sharpness. Like I kept tasting that
I can see that.
different intervals in the cigar. And I thought it was really weird because then I would taste it and I would go, okay, well, this offers a different element of complexity and a sense of balance to the cigar that it otherwise is dismissive of. Because the cigar to me, again, very one-dimensional. And it's weird because even in what you get, I'm not overly pleased with the results. I am a huge fan of cigars that have that element of tanginess and element of bitterness. I like that personally because that is a flavor that I like. There's a reason I drink my coffee black. It's the reason why I like burnt toast. I just like those types of flavors. So I found myself wanting to admire what was presented in the cigar, but found more of myself challenged by it going, well, this is like overwhelming to an extent. It's not balanced like I would want or what I would anticipate, especially with the filler combinations in the cigar. At the halfway point, the cigar almost tames out completely. So where you get some of the impactful flavors that you get up front. And I think this runs parallel into what you'd said, Chris, is like up front, you get a lot and then it tames out. It's just basically a shell of itself through most of the cigar until the end. What I did notice in the final third, actually right towards the end of the cigar, which I liked, was I started getting some of those traditional Dominican flavors. And I love that. Like, I love Honduran, I love Nicaraguan, but there's something special to me about just those traditional Dominican flavors. And I got that right at the end. And I was like, oh, fuck, I needed more of that. I needed more of that at the beginning and not just really in the last inch of the cigar where I was getting ready to put it down. Again, I agree with you. It's pretty one-dimensional. It's not bad, but it's pretty boring at times. It's kind of controversial because like I want to smoke it again, but at the same time, I just kind of want to forget about it. It's so weird. It's kind of a polarizing cigar, I feel. I feel like there's probably elements to this that people really appreciate and really like. And again, someone who loves bitter flavor profiles and more on that tangy side, the brightness. I love brightness in a cigar. I appreciate that. I appreciate what maybe the cigar was intended to be, but I don't necessarily appreciate the outcome of the cigar. To me, I found it to be challenging.
I don't want to put like Rick Rodriguez's words against him, but I will say it satirically in all humor. But maybe there's something to be said for a cigar that he says, quote unquote, Bones is about kicking back with your friends with a cold beer in your hand, playing a game, smoking, grilling, taking a little trash, and having the time of your life. Now, if anybody's familiar with that statement and can empathize with that, the way that strikes me is that this is a cigar
it's forgettable
when you cut the grass, when you're not really paying attention to a cigar.
Agree.
You know, it's like, but with us under such scrutiny that we put, not scrutiny, but criticality we put around our cigar reviews, that's all we're focusing on. There's nothing else. It's just the cigar. So that has our utmost attention. So at least maybe his words, maybe this is a great cigar. I mean, based on the price point, right, which we'll say here in a second, is like based on the price point, maybe this is the cigar that you smoke when you cut the grass, when you want to pass around your buddies, when it's more about the
honestly, isn't that every CAO though? Like every CAO is a cigar that you enjoy around the poker table. Every CAO is a cigar that you smoke when you're cutting the grass. Every CAO is a cigar that you smoke with friends who don't really smoke that often. Every CAO is a cigar that you take to the golf course with you.
That's true.
I almost feel like they're meant to be forgettable. They're meant to have a derived experience, and that experience isn't necessarily like, oh my God, this cigar is fucking mind-blowing, but like, oh my God, this cigar fits a mood or an activity of which I am now drawn into. Like maybe that's what CAO is, and that's cool. Like you found your lane and it works.
Yeah, and no one's going to bitch about $750. So on to our point about price. Is this cigar worth the price of admission of $750 at your local pool hall? Yeah, absolutely. There is no scrutinizing that for a 7.25-inch long cigar at a ring gauge of 54 with its nice and elegant silver and black bands, which confuse you when you read the word Bones on it. It's worth every fucking penny.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that in the slightest.
Yeah.
You cannot. But is
Yeah.
it worth a bonus?
What do
I
you think?
think
Is it
not.
worth a bone us?
Oh, I like that. No, it's not worth a bonus because
No, it's
I was not
definitely
overly wowed.
right.
If I was overly wowed by the blend, I'm like, shit, this is a 750 cigar. Oh, of course. If I could have put it with the echelon of cigars that I truly love, that are at the $9 to $10 price point, of course.
Yeah. I think it's on par with most CAOs. Like this cigar doesn't surprise me that it's in a CAO lineup at all. Like not in the fucking least. I'm like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense. I do agree with you. I think it's totally worth the money, especially in the Vitola we smoked it in. It is a cigar that I'm arguing in my own head that I want to try again just to see what kind of experience I get differs. And I say more in the flavor profile of it because everything else was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Um, I just kind of want to see what that variance would be like. But I do agree with you. I think it's worth the money. I think it's worth the price paid for sure. I think I would also argue that this cigar, like most CAOs, is brand first, cigar second. Again, CAOs kind of found their lane with that. It's like, hey, let's come up with an idea and then let's blend around it as opposed to the adverse, which I think a lot of other people would suggest is the better way of doing it. But it works for CAO. So who am I to fucking argue? They're a massive company. So that being said, what did you rate this cigar? We can't necessarily whisper to each other because we're on video. So,
You can
and I can text you. Oh
yeah,
yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
do that. While the
Um,
computer's calculating our scores. Boop, 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 boop.
uh,
Okay. I've sent in my vote.
okay, me too.
Okay.
Oh wow, surprisingly close.
So I think definitively based on our back end administrative scoring brackets that we do.
Right, which is this. Ah,
This cigar is a decent smoke to try.
yes.
100%. It's 750. It's a big cigar. It's got some tobacco on it that you really can't get with other brands right now because it's in limited production and supply. Like, you're going to be confused by the label. Just ignore it. When you get it, rip it off. It's irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah, the label sucks. It's fucking horrific.
And you'll do what we did, which is put it in your mouth, roll the dice, and see if you like it. Yeah. See if you get a boner.
Yeah.
See if you get a boner.
It's definitely a decent smoke to try. I will say that. And you know what? I would say this too. Ooh, with a lot of CAOs that I've smoked recently, even though this one isn't top echelon of everything I've smoked, is probably one of the better CAOs that I've smoked in a long time. So I will say this. Hats off to CAO for making something marginally better than what they usually make. So that's good. There's at least one positive to be derived from it.
There was a day, bro, where we reviewed the Bogota.
Dude, that cigar was, I still stand by that. That fucking cigar is incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I actually wish I had one to smoke. I think I have a couple CAOs in the humidor right now. I think I have the Sessions and then the newest Amazon Series 1, which starts with a C. Is it Cuntacado? I forget what it is.
I don't remember.
I forget what the fucking name of it is. But anyway, I've got one of those. I kind of want to smoke it, and I kind of want to smoke the sessions too. But yeah, it's kind of a weird one. It's like I do really actually want to smoke this again. I probably won't get around to it for another 6 years.
Maybe I'll smoke the femur one, the big ass one. See if that does any difference.
I don't know. It's like this is one of those cigars where I would argue that smaller Vitola probably better. I don't think bigger is better. But honestly, who knows? It's fucking CAO, man. You never know what you're gonna get.
That's true.
So this is weird because this is our first, like, between you and I, our remote Zoom, which I do, again, I don't know if I said this earlier, but I do technically kind of have it built out to where both of it, but it's real fucking weird. Until I get the basement done, it's just going to be kind of wonky. But I think this went well. I think it went pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't hate it. You are recording this. Thank God. I was like, dude, if you're not recording this right now, I'm going to fucking kill you. It's definitely being recorded. And you know what? It's actually working really well with recording the audio as well. So like all this, like the setup has worked surprisingly really well, which I enjoy a lot. So
Good.
you see Lolo in the background?
Yeah, sweet baby.
She's
We do have a little house cleaning, folks. Um, we took a week off. I personally don't know if it's come out yet, but back on episode 162, we reviewed the Crown Heads Mil Diaz. I believe it was 162. 161?
yeah, but it's not on shelves yet. Like it's like I think it's fucking shipping like right now.
Okay. But we wanted
We're
to keep
about
you
to.
guys aware of these new releases of cigars we reviewed in the
Right.
past. So if you haven't checked out the episode, check out episode 161.
Yeah, it's 161 or 162. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's one of those. But we'll keep you posted on when the cigar comes out, but it will be out within the following couple of weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah. So within like I think probably within the week.
Yeah, John, Mike, if we're off, just let us know. That's okay. We're just trying to build hype and anticipation.
Yeah, I would say in addition to that, we also did the hot cakes, which released in late July. So it is already on shelf. It's actually hot cake, not hot cakes, as I have to keep fucking reminding myself. So that one we just reviewed. That was 2 weeks ago. Obviously, we took the previous week off, so we have that as well. We also have some site reviews that went up. Chris, what did you review this week that we put up?
Oh, the LFD Colorado Oscuro.
Oh, yeah, dude, literally. So, I mean, spoiler alert, I guess, on the fucking cigar itself, but the Colorado Oscuro is, to me, the absolute most underrated LFD cigar and maybe one of the most underrated fucking cigars, period, in history. That cigar is so goddamn outstanding. I can't even fucking begin to tell you how much I love that cigar. In addition to that, I put out a review of the War Witch by Black Star Line Cigars, which is a company out of Chicago. This particular cigar is rolled at Aganorsa. They have other cigars that are rolled at El Titan de Bronze. So that one is out as well. That was released on the 9th, so you can check that out. New organization, new cigar. And Chris, you also are reviewed, and I think it's up as the Quesada 1974, correct?
Correct. That released today, which is Friday, September 11th.
Yeah, it is it's 9/11. Literally, did you not see all the fucking 9/11 posts today?
Nope, sure as hell didn't. You know, the thing is, Cory, it's a beautiful thing when you're detached from reality and society because you're not jaded by all the BSery in the world. And that comes with its own flaws of missing some of the good stuff, but it sure as hell blocks out all the bad shit.
No, there's more bad than good. Dude, this is no joke, just a little bit of a side conversation. So Amy from TLE called me the other day. We've been trying to link up for like 2 weeks now and just shit's been crazy. But we talked, I think we chatted yesterday actually. And I told her, I said, it's been really weird because I've been pretty dismissive and remiss from everything going on in social media, like specifically Instagram, which is what I'm on most often. Right. And that's the only reason I do it is to just promote this shit, which I think I've done in the cigar world a pretty good job of.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like doing it. I fucking hate it. I hate it because I hate having to fucking pander to things. I hate having to be on a schedule. I hate having to do all that. I don't like doing it. I do it because it makes sense for what we do on the show. And then it got me thinking about like other social media platforms and everything we do and so on. And I took like a 2-day break. 2 days is a fucking lot for me. That's a ton of fucking time for me literally to not be online looking at anything. And I'm telling you right now, it was the most peaceful fucking 2 days I think I've had in my life.
Yep.
Like I was like, if I could just take an entire week and just not be a part of any of this. And her and I were talking about that. Like we had the same gripes and the same issues and they deal with the same shit we do. It's weird because you think sometimes you're in like this weird isolated bubble and you're not. It's like all these other people are like, who have to do similar things that we have to do and produce podcasts and promote shit. They're like, fuck, it's exhausting. And I just hate like, you got to worry about people's feedback. You got to worry about all this other shit. But those 2 days where I could just remove myself and concentrate on the things that I can concentrate on in my personal life was like the most, I think it was like this like renewed sense of like, it was like very calming and I felt good. And it didn't really make me want to get back into like, oh, I feel refreshed, so now I want to get back to it. It was just like, no, I have a different perspective now. And that perspective is this noise over here isn't as important as all the other stuff I'm doing. I like interacting with people. That's my favorite part. But all the other shit is just fucking ancillary garbage. Honestly, that's just what it is.
Online lounges. Just like bring on like couple hundred people. Fuck it.
Dude, honestly, I would do that more than I would do anything else. Like even when I was talking to Amy, we did that live, right? Like those kinds of interactions, that's the funnest. That's like the most enjoyment I've ever had out of like any interactions with people. I love doing the podcast. I'm talking about it in terms of like interactions on social media. Like I could give a fuck. I don't care. It's like it's literally just to promote and drive traffic to people that I want to just listen in and hear our takes on things and be a part of the conversation and interaction, right? Engagement and interaction between our audience. Like that's all I care about. Dude, I could do this, like what we're doing now and talking and doing streaming and doing the lives and all that. So like I could do that every day of the week. Every single day of the week I could do this and like it would just feel like I love it. And it would never get old. I would just keep doing it.
Same.
One of these days. Maybe I just need to hire a producer. But I will say this. Not that anybody will know the difference, but tomorrow, so our show sponsor, My Cigar Pack, you can hit them up, mycigarpack.com, promo code HOT10 for $10 off your first order. They also have their factory direct stuff coming out, and Alexander, the owner himself, will actually be staying with me for the next 2 days. So he'll be here. I'll be hosting him in the Dayton area. Do what?
His girlfriend kicked him out.
Yeah, his girlfriend kicked him out. So he's coming, literally flying from the Dominican Republic to Dayton, Ohio. But he will be here, and I'm sure we'll post a ton on fucking social media just because he'll be here.
Especially Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, he'll be here. He's staying with me Saturday night, and then we're going to hang out on Sunday. And I'm going to drive him to Kentucky, I think sometime on Monday, and then he'll head back home to the DR. So we will have him here and we'll put out some shit while he's here, and it'll just be like in story form or whatever. But I'm super excited to host him. I actually just got his bed ready and got like his whole entire guest room ready today. So he's fucking good to go. He's good to go. No throw up sheets. We washed those sheets that Chris slept in and threw up all over. Those are finally clean. And the urine stains in the closet that I know are yours.
That wasn't me.
So, Chris, before we close out, what did you think about this experience overall? Like in terms of the streaming part of this?
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy. I don't have to drive anywhere. I'm in like pajama joggers.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that. But what about equipment? You said you may want to update equipment.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get stuff because I'm actually considering still doing other podcast stuff, and that's more nerdy for the shit that I like.
Of course.
But no, I mean, I got a nice mic, and I just need a mixing board and some clever ways of running audio to multiple layers, and yeah, and it would help with this show. Like that way, we can feed each other our audio, and it'd be flawless.
Yeah, one of the things that I keep thinking about is the extension. Well, I don't even say extension of Hot Take. It'd be something completely different. Chris and I had an idea with a buddy of ours to do another show, completely different, not cigar related at all. And I'm thinking about the ease of use of this particular platform and discussion. And I'm going, well, the feasibility of doing that is so easy, especially if we don't always have to commit to being together, which is optimal. We want to do that. And I want to do that as often as possible. But you can make a show happen with the ease of use, especially now that we're in coronavirus times, with some really good and not even complex audio equipment, we could do and host a really good show. So I've been thinking about that more and more as far as the second podcast that we wanted to do, which I think lends itself to a much broader audience in terms of its content. I think it's feasible. I think it's really feasible, especially when you move, get some updated equipment. I think we can make that happen pretty easily.
Plus, I just like the idea of doing like these like under the chin shots, like
Yeah.
So
Or getting up and walking and showing everybody your dad bod.
Yeah. No, that shit will be gone in 2 months.
All right. So I will take a screenshot of when you were walking around and we'll compare 2 months from now and see what it looks like.
Not when I super hyper extended my belly, because that's a false representation.
I forgot to tell you, I picked up Tuesdays too. So I'm playing Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday now.
Holy shit. By the way, I'm going to have to stop hockey.
Yeah, that's annoying.
On Monday. And
Why?
I can't go to Brent's wedding.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
The only way to get me into the hospital for baby birth is I have to quarantine myself. But the doctor and even me and Kelsey are already thinking that she's going to come early. So I have to be ready prematurely to when we think she might come early, and then all the way to her due date. So I might ostensibly have to quarantine myself for a month.
That's garbage.
Yeah.
So we have no choice but to do this remote for a month.
Yeah. Fees, like if I was going to stick to it, fees, like strictly, yes. Like if it's like
you can't go to your own cousin's wedding, that's fucked up.
Well, it's public, that's really the only issue. I don't know. I know you guys, and I know how you guys treat health. I don't know how the rest of those people do. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. No, I get it. You err on the side of caution. Yeah. But dude, it's going to be such a fun wedding.
I know.
So stoked to go. Like it's on Halloween and it's a full moon.
I know. This fucking sucks.
Do you want me to just FaceTime you while I'm there?
Sure.
I just put you on a coat hanger and just strap my phone to a coat hanger and I'll just carry it around so you can see everyone.
I should do a costume still and just fucking
Dude, it's gonna be so much fun. I'm so fucking excited to go to his wedding.
Yeah.
Like legit. I even told him, I was like, yeah, we have like beggars night and trick or treat in our neighborhood, which there's a tons of kids in our neighborhood now, which I've wanted for a long time. I've either lived at a condo where no one trick or treats, or I live in a neighborhood full of old people that are half dead.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've lived in a neighborhood where there's kids. Like both neighbors on both sides of me have kids. And they're adorable. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to like pass out candy. Like this is going to be great. And they sent out a thing the other day for our neighborhood on Facebook. And it was like, hey, we're still looking to do the Halloween, the trick or treat thing. And like everybody was in. And I told Lauren, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like we're finally going to be able to pass out candy for like the first time basically ever. And like we get to see all the kids in the neighborhood and like what they dress up at. Like I was excited. I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. And she's like, your cousin's wedding's that night, dumbass. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I want to miss Halloween again, but I'm super stoked for his wedding. So anyone doesn't know, which is going to be most people listening to the show, my cousin is super fucking extremist about Halloween, like to the nth degree. He's having his wedding on Halloween, full moon, the whole fucking thing. And Chris, you'll miss it, which is sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all good. Let's end this show. I have no idea how this recording is going to turn out. I don't know what it's going to sound like, but it's been recording fine the entire time. Perfection. So we'll see. And then we'll put it out on video as well.
Am I on the right screen and you're on the left screen?
I have mine collapsed to where we're stacked on top of each other. So however you're recording it is what's going to actually be outputted. But you're on top of me right now. You're right. You're up here. You're right here. I don't even know how I.
Yep, that looks good. Nope. You gotta put your hand. Nope. You're on the right side. You gotta flip your hand around. There you go. Nope. Not towards the front. Nope. Gotta do it like that. Yeah.
Well, you're different from me.
I know.
How about we just cheers? Because I know I can do that in the camera appropriately.
Okay.
Just have your wine. We always cheers to a Friday. Cheers to your black tar wine. And cheers to my Long Branch bourbon.
Cheers.
All right. I saw Kale running in the background a few times in his undies. That was cute. Tell him I miss him.
He's drunk.
Oh, speaking of not drunk, but I'm going to set up my projector in this room and then I'm going to hook my Nintendo Switch to it.
Oh, that'd be
So
sick.
if there's a time of which he wants to play because I hooked it up to the TV in the bedroom and I was like, God, I'm never going to play Switch in here because Lauren always watches her weird Lucifer shows and this shit. I was like, oh, but I found my projector and I was like, holy shit, I have my projector. And I'm just going to literally just cast it on this fucking wall. And then that'll just be like my little fucking
Hell yeah.
TV area.
Hell
So
yeah.
it'll be dope. All right. Well, enjoy your night. Thanks everybody for listening. Check out our website, www.hotticketweekly.com for all the reviews that we talked about. You can watch the videos. You can literally see fucking everything. We have 3 reviews released this week. The Colorado Oscuro by LFD, the Warwich by Black Starline Cigars, and the Quesada 1974 by Quesada. 3 reviews in one goddamn week. And then, of course, this episode, which features the CAO Bones. You can check that on our website. Again, www.hotticketweekly.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back at you next week with episode 166. See you, everyone.
Ooh.
Bye.